Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, hit the subscribe button, and if you're returning, hit the likes button, and if you're passing through and you have not subscribed, hit the likes and the subscribe button. What are you waiting for? You have nothing to lose. And all of my new subscribers, welcome. So today we're going to talk about the Micah, and I keep calling her Mica. I love the name Mica, but it's Micah. Micah Miller. Her family won her belongings, so they get her belongings back, and I am so happy. They did a press conference the other day, and I'm a little late, but again, if you have heard this information, pass the video by. I don't mind, but you don't need to comment and say you heard it all before. I like talking about it on my channel because it's interesting to me. So anyway, they won the case, and I'm so happy because this guy is just still going out here, talking and, going on with his life. And this precious life has been taken from us way too soon, and from her family way too soon. I say us because she just had such joy looking at her Facebook page and going, her angelic voice. I think it's just so beautiful. So she was taken way too soon. And so, and I'm sure her family feels the same way. But they finally won the case. So I'm going to let you all listen to the press conference, and her sister gets her belongings. I'm sure that, any information that was on that phone, it was probably erased. I'm not for sure if the police took it to any kind of FBI or anything like that to kind of get any information off the phone, downloaded, whatnot. We're also going to be talking about a list that was that she left, that they're talking about, this list that's going around of things that, she said before she, was unalived or before her unfortunate passing. So we're going to discuss all those things. Please leave comments down below, and please again hit that likes and subscribe button if you can. So we're going to get right into it, and we're going to first watch a little bit of the news conference. We're not going to watch all of it because it is a pretty long news conference, and I believe they're trying to pass a law out in North Carolina. It's called the Mica's law. And they're going to try to pass that law to get, something passed out there. So we're going to watch the video, and then we're going to talk about the list, some of the things on the list that, she left behind. It seemed like she was leaving all these clues behind, and she was trying to tell people what was going on, and nothing was being done about it. And it's sad that she was trying to tell everybody what was going on. She told her sister, she told her friends, and she tried to tell the church, and, she tried to call the police, and she reached out to these people, and she went onto Facebook, and she was trying to say it. And this guy just, because he was a pastor, so well known, just, nobody listened. Well, her sister, her families and friends, they knew, but the people that had the authority to do something about it did not listen, because he portrayed, oh, she's mentally ill. And that's what narcissistic people do. They will take one part, and because they're so nice and so genuine, and people don't see that other side of them, they will the people that don't see that other side of them because they show a different side to themselves, they end up believing the narcissistic person. So that narcissistic person will take the person that and make that person, say such bad things about that person. Oh, she's crazy, she's insecure, she's this, she's that. And they will tell the people that are don't actually see their behavior, their bad behavior, and make these people think that this is what this person is, that this person's mean, she's crazy, she's insecure, she does this all the time, she has a mental problem, this is what this is what she does to me, not knowing what they do to that person behind closed doors and how they treat that person, because those people out there only see the genuine side of that narcissistic person and not that bad behavior, not that other side, not that manipulative, snake side of the situation. So, it was only the family and the close friends that seen that and knew who Micah was, that said, no, Micah's not, mentally ill. She's not crazy. They knew who Micah was, and they believed her, and the other people believed this narcissistic liar. And, so anyway, I'm going to stop ranting about him because this guy just really rubs me the wrong way. He's Satan is what he is, and he just rubs me the wrong way. But anyway, let's get to the video. And, not the video, the news conference. Let's see.
Investigative authority. When all authorities are finished with that property and have no use, no longer any use for it. In other words, they've finished up whatever investigations or whatever they need that property for. Then that property is going to be turned over to my office. It will not be released to Mr. Miller, and that does not mean that he doesn't have the right to see what's on a cell phone, which we're all interested in looking at. We also don't know what else may have been in the purse or the wallet or anything like that. His lawyer would be able to ask us about having access to it too. But right now, we are very satisfied and happy that he has been advised by his attorney to allow us to get that property in our possession. Other terms that were part of the agreement had to do with the vehicle that Micah was driving in North Carolina. That vehicle was actually also titled in another lady's name, Miss Neosi, who is her godmother. So the parties have agreed that that vehicle will be released back to Miss Diana. It is her vehicle, and that's who should get it. We also agreed to respective restraining orders. These are family court restraining orders. They're pretty standard in most family court cases. For instance, in this particular case, there will be a mutual restraint that no party will dispose of any marital asset or do anything to devalue the asset. That is because what is part of the question here is what part of the marital estate belongs to Micah. And that's what we've got to get to next. So there's a restraining order that nobody can dissipate, sell, transfer any property that may be considered marital. In addition to that, there's also a similar restraining order that goes to the opposite in terms of debts and things like that. Whenever you're in a marriage, you may have the capability of having your spouse be a part of some debt. So there's a restraint on not incurring any further marital debt. And then, of course, there is a restraining order with regard to the protection of people. And that protection of people in this place goes both ways. It is a mutual restraining order. It is not a restraining order in the matter that a lot of people think of as in a criminal case. In a criminal case, whenever a restraining order is issued or a no contact order is issued on behalf of the victim, that means that the person that's being held against has no authority, cannot go around that person at all, period. And they can get locked up on site for violating a conditions of a bond or a no contact order. In this particular situation, because we are in family court, it's a little different. If someone violates a restraining order in family court, you have to put together your evidence and you have to file a petition called a rule to show cause. You have to request the hearing. You also have to serve that person notice that you're making an allegation that they have violated a court order. And then you have your day in court, just like any other trial setting, where you get to present evidence and witnesses, and then you prove or you defend against whether you've violated a family court restraining order. So there's a lot more hoops to it. In this particular case, the restraining order basically is saying that the parties are mutually restrained from contacting the other, that all communications will be handled through the attorney's offices. So there's no need for any direct communication. We're also under a mutual restraint to not go into the area of a person's residence or where they work. And if they do, they're to return and leave if the other person is there. So whoever is there first gets to stay and the other one needs to return, turn around and leave. Well, everyone is also restrained from making any, threatening, any physical harm or anything like that. By us entering into these restraining orders, please do not misconstrue. That does not mean specifically that someone has already done these types of behaviors. These are formalities that are put into place to protect all parties prior to anything like that happen. So we have not, let me make it clear, not had any problems with Mr. Miller trying to contact anybody or anybody trying to violate any of these terms. These are put into place as a formality on the front end for the protection of all parties involved. It also makes clear what the boundaries are. And then if anyone violates what's written in this court order, they'll have an opportunity to file a contempt action or a rule to show cause. No one goes to jail on site for violating this particular type of restraining order. There were other issues that were asked for, or relief that was asked for in our motion. We've decided to put those, what we call, hold them in abeyance. In other words, we've not given up the right to pursue whatever relief we were asking for, but we've all agreed that we will set that to the side for the moment and that we will come back to it at a later time. There's various reasons for doing that. One thing is to quickly, what we wanted to get was this order that we would have possession of Micah's personal property that's in the currently in the possession of Robeson County Sheriff's Department. So at this time, one of the things that's very important for the family, and after this, we would like to refrain from answering any questions. I want you to refrain from asking any questions from the family members. Any questions that you'll have to ask, please direct them to me and I will answer them for you. I'm going to let you know right now what we're going to talk about next is actually something that was brought to our attention. We have been so impressed and just so happy with people who have taken interest in this case for good causes, for people who have given us tips, who have sent us information and guided us through various avenues where we were looking for answers for certain things. And the family is very grateful for that. There is still a lot to be done here. There is something that's very important to this family today and is also important to this community, we have learned. And that is, there is a petition going around for what everyone's referring to as Micah's Law. And we want Micah's Law. This is a book that I put together with some information, some research, and things that I've done about Micah's Law. Would you be shocked to know that that very law has already been drafted and has been sitting in the General Assembly and the Judiciary Committee, both in the House of Representatives and the Senate? Don't get too happy. It's been sitting there since February the 2nd of 2020. Now I'm mad. Are you mad? I'm mad. So let me tell you the history. On February the 20th of 2020, what is referred to as the Coercive Control Bill was introduced to the House of Representatives. And I want to make sure I get the name right. I believe it was a former representative, McLean Toole, Toole. He presented that bill read it into the House of Representatives. And what happens after that is it's referred to what's called a Judiciary Committee. Now, the Judiciary Committee is tasked with looking at the bill, seeing what needs to be improved, what needs to be deleted. In other words, going through the process to make sure that it is properly codified and put in, and that it's ready for law. So the Coercive Control Bill, when it was introduced as House Bill number 5271. You can get online and track it. It goes nowhere. It goes to the Judiciary Committee, and it goes no further. Folks, that was 4 years ago. Then again, I said, on January the 12th of 2021, House Representative Robert J., also referred to as RJ, May, M-A-Y, the third, he introduced the same bill, Coercive Control Bill. It was known as House Bill 3621. That was 3 years ago. When you do the research on the bill, guess what? It got referred to the Judiciary Committee. Now, normally when it gets there, there should be a subcommittee that is assigned to take that particular bill, to study it, to review it, to bring in whatever advisors or other professionals to help craft that bill and put it into hopefully its perfect form. It went to the Judiciary Committee in the House and never went any further. Can't find where it was assigned to anyone or anything. Now let's go back 2.5 years ago. December the 7th, 2021, Senator Katrina Fry Shelley, she introduced into the Senate the Coercive Control Bill. What do you think happened to it? Got referred to the Judiciary Committee. I need to tell you more about that particularly. And before I do so, let's make sure everyone understands what is the Coercive Control Bill. Coercive control refers to a pattern of behavior used by one person to dominate, manipulate, and intimidate another within an intimate or familial relationship. It encompasses acts such as assault, threats,
Okay, so they introduced this bill, and there's a senator, I believe, that she's going to, I believe his name is Rankin, that's for the state of South Carolina, I believe. So they're asking, whoever lives in South Carolina or North Carolina, I'm sorry, to please call so that they can get the bill passed across the United States so that it can become a national law that's signed in. Because it is sad that when you have a partner, man or woman, that is controlling someone by an abuse pattern that says, oh, they're mentally ill, or controlling them by some force, that it will be illegal to do so. And I think it's very important, because I think that we do have a lot of people that are doing that, a lot of spouses, both ways, on both parts, that do that to their spouses. So very important to listen to this, because, to sign those petitions, if they come across Facebook or across your social media, or if you see them, to get this petition signed in so that we can get this law passed.
Humiliation, emotional abuse, and isolation. The goal is to harm, punish. 19 and 2020. I don't know if you saw or you remembered, but there was an interview that was done of me that said, hey, do you think, what do you think about the police and what they did? Well, here's what I think. I think the police didn't have anything to look to. They show up, they look for bruises. They look for black eyes. They look for scratches. They look for those types of things. And not seeing any, no crime here. They don't have a law to look to. Now, let me read you some of these behaviors that, had this been a law at the time, the police officers would have had something to look to and to gauge it. The offense of coercive control of another person may include, but is not limited to, the following types of behavior. The very first one, isolating a person from their family and friends. In and of that self, that is not a crime. Next is depriving a person of their basic needs, food, shelter, clothing. The next one is monitoring a person's time. That's done a number of ways. Trackers, PIs, looking through their cell phones, looking at what they're doing online, driving by the job, who you talking to, where you at. D, subsection D, monitoring a person via online communication tools and using spyware. The interesting thing here is when people are married and the police are called to a domestic situation, usually what happens is they're told by the police officers, because this is what they get to go to, is, ma'am, sir, sue you. Next, I would suggest is misuse of legal documents. Excuse me, I'm sorry I said that one. Misuse of law enforcement. Calling the police for no reason. Gaslighting, saying something happened that didn't happen. Telling somebody they can do something, then turn around and call the cops on them and tell them that you didn't say that. Whatever. That's such a waste of time of taxpayers' money. The Senate and the House. But don't forget those who are on the Judiciary Committee. So go there and you can look for the Judiciary Committee, both in the Senate and the House. You'll get the names of everybody there that's serving on that committee. They make it very easy. They have a place online there where you can submit an electronic message to them. You don't need to go and do all of this work. You can simply go online, fill out the form, submit it, and they'll have it. If you want to do a letter, but you just don't know what to say in it exactly, I have created a template form that is available for anybody who would like it. You can use it just like it is, or you can change it up, or you can use it as inspiration and write whatever you want. But please get those letters out there. You can also send them an email saying the same thing. Those email addresses are published on that scstatehouse.gov website. And then next, just put it on your calendar every now and then. They have a thing called tracking that bill. Track that bill. She just went to the wrong place for that. And no, I wasn't representing.
Okay, so I'm going to stop sharing that. If you guys want to go and finish watching that, you can go to Court TV or you can watch it on YouTube, that press conference. But there is another video that I want to share and just kind of, well, I'm sure you all seen it. It's kind of touching on, that she left a list. There was a voicemail, and let me play that one. That I hope I got it on this one. If not, I'll just kind of tell you about it. Let's see. This one I'll just have to read. So this one is just, this is just what it was the list and the law that they're trying to create. So the documents that were released is just, this is what was released. And let me do this. So I'm going to have to read them. And, he had just, he abused her. Well, this is not much, I guess. But he had just abused her. It's nothing that I guess this is nothing that we had we haven't already seen. So I'm not going to really do anything with that. But anyway, just to go back to what, she was saying, the police often don't look for, when they go out to the homes, they do look for bruises, as they do on children. And it kind of goes hand by hand when they go out. They don't look for the emotional abuse. They don't look, and they don't lift up the clothes, and they don't do any of that. And they often go out to say, oh, are you, I don't see bruises. Are you okay? They don't see if they're being held, hostage or the emotional abuse and anything like that. So, or is food being withheld, because all of that is abuse as well. Food being withheld, water being withheld, those are all abuse within itself. She could be SA'd, that's abuse. It doesn't have to be hitting and bruises being shown. It could be, SA'd, when they leave. So they need to, those laws need to be passed to all of those laws need to be passed. And I think that if the police department is trained a little bit better, and it goes to the social work, and that all of that goes hand in hand, then maybe our children and adults can be saved from abuse, and these cases would not have to end in such devastating experiences altogether. And this case might have been a different outcome for everyone if they would have had more resources and training and laws put into effect. Maybe it would have had a different outcome if someone would have just listened to what this girl was actually saying. This, not the girl, but this young, beautiful woman would have said. If people would just take the time to kind of read between the lines instead of, looking for people that stand up in the pulpit and preach a word. Because sometimes the people that hide behind these, I'm telling you, hide behind these cloths and these, it's a wolf in sheep's clothing. And I often say that these people that try to portray that they're so kind and so innocent and they're so pure, and they put on this persona in front of everybody else, they're not who they say they are. And narcissistic people are good at portraying somebody different. And it's sad. Because the ones that are true and they're real and they show, people don't like us. Because we show who we are. We're the real people. And they don't like us. Because we don't put on those personas. We don't put on a fake show for anybody. We're who we are. We're real. And so they often look at those narcissistic people and they say, oh, poor things. Oh, my goodness. But if they only knew who they were, they wouldn't like them either. So he gets up with this little squeaky voice and these little, this, oh, with this, and it's like, oh, play the next video and all this bull crap. And people sit and love him. And that congregation is just so mesmerized by this snake. And he sits up and who tells their congregation to, he puts trackers on her phone and no one should be talking to his wife and who does that and sits there and listens to that bull and still listens to this guy and went to church every Sunday listening to this guy who spoke badly of his wife every Sunday. Sad. Anybody who speaks badly of their spouse or speaks, doesn't stand by their spouse and is not hand by hand, because God says, you cleave to your wife. And anybody who cannot cleave to their wife, who disrespects their wife any kind of way, God does not like that. God does not like that. He frowns up on that. So you always cleave to your wife. And when you disrespect your wife, God does not like that. And you will pay one way or the other. So when you think that you're getting away with disrespect, you're not. And anybody, if his lawyer friend had a hand in helping, or anybody who had a hand in helping in this situation, you're not going to get away with it either. Because God does not like someone meddling in someone else's marriage. You don't get away with it easy. You won't. So I am so glad that Mica's family won this case and that they're going to get her belongings back. And as always, I'm going to continue to keep an eye on this case because I am interested. I want him, as I want Jennifer, something done about her. Soto, I want something done about this guy. I want him to be something. So I'm going to keep a close eye on this. I also want, little Seth, Rogers found. I want to know what's going on with that because that's just a bizarre case as well. So I'm going to keep a close eye on all of these cases. Please leave a comment on what you think about this case. As you always do, please, my loyal subscribers, comment on these cases. Please give some feedback on this. Hit the likes button, the subscribe button. Please tell me what you think about this. And until next time, let's discuss it. Let's see what you all think. I'm so happy. I hope they find something on that cell phone and that will, that's useful, should I say. So Until next time, thank you all so much for watching and being loyal and coming back and watching my videos. And until next time, bye.